Just introduce first, and then. All right, we're live. We're live. Now we're live. We've been talking for a little bit. All right, I'm Chris, Arizona of a Houndsman. Arizona anecdote of a Houndsman. I don't know where Arizona came from. Talking. We are on Freecasting, and we got Carl Boykin with Boykin Guides and Outfitters, right? We got Colton. Colton or Colter?
Colter, yes, sir.
Oh, I was gonna say I put it in my phone wrong if it ain't Colter.
Yeah,
With
it's Colter.
CM Hounds. Carl has a lot of stories, and Colter's gonna make a lot of stories.
That's the hope.
So we were just talking about Colter. He lost a dog, and it sucks. But so your GPS, how long did that last? Well, let's get it. Let's get the old guy out of the way first because he's the legend here. Why don't you tell us who you are, Carl, and how long you've been doing what you're doing?
Carl Boykin. I've been doing it for, I don't know, long time.
Do you even know how old you are or your birthday?
Yeah, I'm 67, I think.
Still going.
Yeah.
I think we all want to keep going like Warner Glenn. I mean, he's 87, still getting on mules and making circles.
That guy's a legend now.
Yep. So, and tell us a little, how'd you get in the Hounds? That's what I want to know. That's my first question is what got you in the Hounds?
Well, an old guy named Vern Phillips was pretty much the only houndsman in town, and I was out of my grandma's ranch. I spent a lot of time out on their ranch. We had another one, but helping them, and he come around wanting to go coon hunting one evening, and I was about, I don't know, 6, 7 years old. I don't remember. I was pretty young. But I was pretty much enthralled with that hounds, and he could tell while he was asking permission and visit with my grandparents, I was out there playing hound dogs in the back of his truck.
Yeah.
So that he finally asked me, he says, "Is it all right if your grandkid goes hunting with me tonight?" He says, "Yeah, if he wants to." I said, "Oh, hell yeah, I'm ready, you know." So it pretty much started there, and then a few years later, not too long either, I got a hound dog from a kid at school against my mother's wishes.
Yeah. You did where the red fern grows, didn't you?
Pretty much. Well, I asked her if I could have one because I knew they had this litter of puppies, and she said no because I already had a dingo dog and a healer. So anyway, when they come weaning time and they brought them to school, I took one home with me on the bus.
Nice. Nice. You can't take it back now.
No, she let me keep it. But anyway, so then it was quite a few years after that they got interested in hunting lions.
What kind of pup was it?
That one there was a black and tan pup. I believe, yeah, that was a black and tan one. Yeah.
So you're partial to him because that was your first dog, or? Everybody has a color preference, and
if they hunt, it's good enough, you know.
Mm-hmm. But everybody still has a color preference, you know. I grew up loving blue ticks, and then I got some Bam Bam Walkers, and a buddy of mine, you know, gave me a couple of dogs back in the 90s, and I went with him. Well, they bred, and they popped out some black and tans, and I'm like, hey, man, I think my dog got knocked up by a mutt. I said, no, that's a walker, that's a black and tan. He goes, you know, that, you know, it's kind of weird for me. I thought a Rottweiler come in and got him, but yeah.
Yeah.
But like you said, you know, and I don't like red bones. I'm not a big fan of black and tans, but one of my best dogs right now is a red bone, you know.
Yeah.
So I think you just end up with them and you run them.
Yeah. I got mostly blue ticks and red bones, except for some blue tick walker crosses that I got out of a really good female that I had. That's about all we got.
Yeah.
Oh,
Then I got, and then I got a, and then I got a border. I bred one of my hounds to a mini border collie, so I had a truck dog. So this dog goes with me everywhere, sleeps in my bed. So I don't know if you guys know Mountain Music and Mules, old George Lambert, but
Yep.
he has that, you know. And then I had a lot of people that had dogs, those little Jack Terriers and stuff, and
yeah,
man, they wanted like $700 for them. And I said, well, I'll just make my own mutt. So we'll see how she does. She does real good on the little drags and got the
yeah.
good nose, but she's spoiled booger.
That's funny.
I got a dog like that, but he's a black lab, and
Oh,
man, he weighs as much as I do. I mean, I'm not a big man, but that dog stands up in his hinds, and he's as
yeah.
tall as me. And
You
he
know,
just rides in the pickup.
if I always wanted to try, labs have such a meticulous nose. I
Hmm.
always wanted to put that nose in a hound somewhere
Yeah.
just to see how it worked. And I did that. And then the litter got killed by bees. So
Really?
I lost, I think we lost 7 dogs of that. I wasn't even home. I was out of town, and then I guess my neighbor came over and knocked on the door, and then he runs off. So my old lady goes out and is like, weird. He's running away. Bees, like Tommy Boy on. And
Yeah.
so and then they were attacking my dogs. I had one dog die that night, went into like epileptic seizure, and then I had another dog, Argyle, great dog. Of course he was, because you don't lose the good dogs or the
Right.
bad dogs. You always lose the good dogs.
Yeah.
It was a couple months later, he come out of it. Well, the next morning I had to shoot a dog because he was paralyzed. It paralyzed him. He could only move his eyes and he was laid down. I lost a dog that night. I had to put one down the next day. And then this one lived. I was running a bear over there by Lake Mountain, and I ran him all the way down to Ziegler. Well, I picked him up. He fell behind. I picked him up, and he was walking real sore. I'm like, that's weird. Threw him in the truck. I went to pick up my other dog just around the corner, and before it was not even under 5 minutes, I went as soon as I got out, grabbed that dog, open tailgate, throw him in. That dog was dead. So I don't know if all that bee, like messed him up a little bit, and he had a heart attack, or I don't
Right.
know. I've never had that, but that was 2 months later, and maybe I just overexerted him, or maybe he had some bad issues because of all. I mean, the first dog that died that night, I took a comb and combed it out, and there was just thousands of stingers. My my sons were all
Was
swole
that them
up. And,
killer honeybees, or was them some
no, I had a beehive under my house for 10 years. Like they never bothered nobody. I think another hive came in. It's what the bee guy kind of told me. Another hive came in, and they got in a big fight, and robber bees is what he called it, and they just got crazy. So yeah. I ain't got no comments yet. Usually I get some comments by now. So anyways, let's get back to Carl's. So that started it. That started it in the day for you. Bringing a puppy home against mother's wishes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then I had, hound dog or 2 or 3 when I was raising my kids, just for something to do, go coon hunting. We had ranches to go on, so we had miles and miles of river,
Yep.
Not miles and miles, but
I wasn't in Arizona then. If it had miles of river,
that was
that's
in
Wyoming.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
And then when I decided to do the hound or the lion thing, I went with a couple different guys a couple times, and never was successful. And I had a guy at a church dinner. His kids broke the window out of the wife's car at the time while we were eating at the dinner, and they was all apologetic about it. And I said, "It's no biggie, kids throw rocks. That's how they do." And he goes, "Man, I got to pay you for that." I said, "No, I don't need no money, And Money says, "Hey," he says, "you wouldn't be interested in a hound dog, would you?" And I said, "Yeah, I might be. She's a coon dog from Michigan or somewhere up there." black and tan.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "You wouldn't be interested in the 4 pups that I still got, would you?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll take all of them." I'm telling you what,
Typical houndsman.
that was the best move I ever made, and them pups was good. She treated a coon in my yard when I dumped her out of the pickup that night.
Yeah.
I
What
mean,
did they have any of those paper dogs? Just grade someone's backyard breeding.
They was papered dogs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yep.
But anyhow, the pups turned out so good. I was selling them. I sold one of them to the University of Wyoming. I had one of them killed by an elk hunter. I mean, everybody told me, all them houndsmen, even the guy that got me started when I was 6 years old, he had walker dogs. He says, "You'll never catch a lion with them dogs." He loved his walker dogs, you know. "You'll never catch a lion with them dogs," blah, blah, blah. And everybody else says, "Oh, it'll take you a couple of years to get it figured out." Well, 2 weeks later, I had a lion.
Oh,
Another week, I had another lion. And then,
that's Ben Lilly syndrome.
pardon me?
That's Ben Lilly syndrome right there.
Yeah. And then the third one, it was a female too. The first 3 was females.
Huh.
And, but man, she smoked them by herself. I didn't have the pups was too young to go. But, I had a buddy named Robin Blake that I grew up with. We call him Boone.
Yeah.
Like it was Super Bowl Sunday, and I can't remember the year, but it was like maybe late 80s or early 90s, somewhere in there. And I found this track. I called it, and it was like 30, 40 below. It was so cold, and it was snowmobile only. I called him, and he come out of town.
Is this still Wyoming?
And we caught that lion. I said, "Hell, it's another female." I said, "I ain't going to shoot it." And he says, "Well, you don't shoot it, I'm going to."
Heard that
I ended up taking that. That was my first lion.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
anyway, enough bullshit about me.
What kind of dogs were those? Paper dogs. What were those paper dogs?
The black and tan. They was black and tan.
They were black and tans?
Yeah.
Do you even have any black and tans left, Carl?
We got one black and tan, and it's in my son's yard over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. As long as it ain't in your yard, I guess.
None in my yard.
Colter has a history.
I do. I've had one black and tan, and I picked him up off of my buddy, and this dog hadn't been on anything his entire life, and I picked him up. He's like, they tried to make him a cow dog, and it won't work. So he's like, I'm giving him to you, and I came and got him, and the first time I took that dog out, I wasn't expecting much, but he rigged with the other dogs on a bear, and they caught that bear, and I was surprised, because I've had a lot of young dogs that I've been trained, and I don't see him make any progress right away, but I mean, he was to the tree just like that, and made up, and I'm like, I called him, the guy, I'm like, "Has this dog been on anything besides cows?" And he's like, "No, we couldn't even get him on cows." And I was like, I blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. It's crazy. You get those dogs that just have that natural ability. The natural instinct kicks in right away. I mean, I've got quite a litter of pups that I'm trying to work out in, because I haven't been in this for very long. I've been trying to get into it. Now that I'm finally
tell us that story. Tell us that your grandfather.
Okay.
I caught you on Facebook saying if anybody has these dogs, kick us back to your grandfather, the guy who's interesting, not you.
Right. No, my grandfather. I looked up to him. I didn't get to know him as much as I would have liked to, but his name was Dick Muldoon, and he ran out of Steve Masters' bloodline, and they had these little red dogs, and man, those dogs. I hear stories about them just going and going, and so I've been trying to find them, and I'm still to this day trying to find them. I found 2 that I drove all the way up to Nevada for, and they got very little Mathis blood in them, and so I drove all up to Nevada for these dogs, and drove all the way back, and come to find out, like a year later, they've had very little in them. But these dogs just kind of started going their own way, and before I knew it, they were catching on their own. And I've been pretty fortunate. My grandpa Dick, he was he was a really tough man, and I only got to know him for a little bit, from what I can remember. But his dogs were, they were really cool. It was really cool. When I was a little kid, I remember just watching his dogs work, and I thought, man, I want to do that so bad. And man, I finally, after I didn't get to do it right away. A lot of stuff happened in between, and years later, I found myself going, I'm finally ready. So I started dipping into it, and I've been pretty fortunate to start catching stuff here lately in the last year. So I'm fresh into it. I mean, I've been trying to get into it, and man, there's been a lot of not catching going on. I'll tell you that.
I tell people get into dogs. First, I tell them don't get into dogs.
Right.
I've said that 100 times on here, but it does. Sometimes those guys, we're not all great like Carl here, who catches one the next day, But
that was just total life luck.
Yeah.
Well, I think anything with dogs,
videos, I'm just like, man, I would love to be that guy.
any time with dogs is luck. Even no matter what you do, even snow. How many times I know Carl's been out there for 3 days or more and didn't find one track, probably more than that. I've heard guys going out for weeks and not finding a track. It's luck. You get lucky and find that track. If you get on a mule and do circles out in the desert, you're lucky to come across that track.
Oh yeah.
You might think you know where them lions are, and when you think you know where they are, it seems like they're never there. So when you're headed out where you don't think they are, there they are.
Yeah.
So, have you?
I seen a guy on Facebook this morning said something about hunting lion with hounds is cheating.
Oh, I know who that is because I commented on it, and then it got removed. No, that guy. I'm gonna tell you right now, that guy's an idiot. That guy's talking about wanting to see the whites of their eyes, and it started a whole conversation. Another guy said, I want to see the whites of their eyes. I'm like, all right, come pull a lion tail. Come punch a bear in the butt. Like, tough guy. No, I seen that, and everybody jumped on that guy. As soon as I seen that, I said, yeah, obviously, I've never been around hounds, but, and then everybody hammered that guy. I mean, it went from hounds is cheating to, so you have binoculars, that's cheating. Rangefinders is cheating, but I get in an argument all the time with unfair chase people where hounds are unfair chase. I said, well, I'll tell you what. I told the guy, I'll get rid of my hounds if you get rid of your camouflage and your glass and your bow that shoots 400 feet a second and your black powders that are shooting half a mile now, And
your 6.5 Creedmoor that shoots 1,000 yards supposedly.
Yep.
Yeah. Give it to them long range guns and then we'll talk,
Yep. Well, I mean, even at 1,000 yards, I'm not saying they don't, but you're 1,000 yards away. You're going to shoot a breeding bull. And I'm not against none of this.
No.
But when you attack me for it, okay, I don't hunt the rut much. I'm not a big trophy hunter. I don't shoot bedded buck. To me, to shoot a bedded buck, it's kind of chicken shit, man. Like, if you want to really get down to it.
I got to ask you a question, Chris. I got into it with this guy named Kevin Presmick.
Kevin.
And I keep telling him, this is the question. I said, I find the spoils of these long range shots everywhere I go in the winter. And they're not lion kills. They're not coyote kills.
No.
You can look across the canyon from where you find them, and there's the end of a 2-track road where people come and glass.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 1,000 yards across the canyon. Or whatever it is. And sure shit, you think, this is what happened. I mean, you can kind of see what happened. They shoot, they wound it. It runs off 200 or 300 yards, or sometimes 400 or 500.
Yeah.
And it crashes. And them people, they say, well, we missed. You don't see them stories about, well, we missed or we wounded it.
Yeah.
They're too damn lazy to go down. These new age guys with these long range guns. They're too damn lazy to go down the canyon up on the other side and go check.
No, that's a fact.
And they don't find it. Yeah, he argues with me about that.
Okay, you're talking about Kevin Presmick for one. The guy will argue anyways. Like,
yeah.
I don't know him personally. I've been told by this side, he's a good dude. You just got to get to know him. I think he's a love-hate kind of guy. I don't know him personally. I think if we was at a campfire, we'd get in some good arguments, maybe in a couple fights, and then we'd go hunting the next day. You know, I've been in a couple, you know.
No, I got nothing to do with that. He says that this shit don't happen. It happens all the time.
It absolutely happens. I shot an elk over by the golf course at Silver Creek. Everybody's fussy tonight. Oh, Brett Vaughn jumping in. And we tracked him all the way to 77. There was a 4-inch piece of rib out of this elk that I found. And this elk, they're tough. I'm not going to lie. That's a 50 caliber at under 100 yards. And this elk went all the way across. And it went into another unit, and it was just not stopping. But I walked all the way from Borden Ranch Road all the way over that 77. We tracked that, and we just couldn't catch him. You can go hunt Wolf Mountain, Lake Mountain. After archery season, you're going to find elk. You're going to find elk. Bad archery shots, because they talk about the 6.5 Creedmoor, and I'm probably going to open a can of worms tonight. But you talk about that 6.5 Creedmoor, but shoot an elk with a bow, you have to be meticulous in your shot. You have to be good, because this is a big animal, and you're shooting a bow 300 feet a second, 400 feet a second. You know what I mean? And that's when you shoot it. And everybody's saying, I'm going to take these 100-yard shot. I can shoot 100 yards with a bow. Oh, you might be able to shoot 100 yards at a pie plate, yeah. But the force behind it. I catch so many bears off of dead elk after archery. And then you got muzzleloader season. Same thing. Muzzleloader don't have the power behind the shot. So your shot has to be not as meticulous, but it has to be, people get these muzzleloaders, these inlines, and they're shooting 400 or 500 yards with them, you know, and they can do it. Some of these muzzleloaders now, I think they're going to outlaw those next. Just like New Mexico took away the scope, right? Off of muzzleloaders, you know? So, my dog. So, you can go unfair chase all day. You can make fun of the 6.5 Creedmoor all day. You can make fun of everybody can talk crap about the Houndsman. Everybody can talk crap about the deer hunters. Everybody, and you can, but when it comes time, and Colorado's about to go through this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have Dan Gates is supposed to be on next week's live with me, free casting. And he's the guy that's kind of heading up the charge over there. He couldn't be on the night because I guess Steve Ranella is more important than me. I don't get it. You know, Joe Rogan wants him on. It ain't me. But he said he's going to be on next week to talk about that. And I had a newspaper lady that I'm partners with ask me, what does it have to do with Arizona? I said, absolutely 100% everything.
Everything.
Because when Arizona lost his trail cameras, everybody else wants to mimic it. It's a dominoes effect. Same with the Lions. And then they go after the Hounds, you know, so that was my rant. I don't know how we got on that. I'm real bad. Even Brett Vaughn says I'm all over the place.
Like and it's crazy because a lot of hunters, everybody has their own way of hunting, you know, and we've always kind of clashed heads with how we're doing it, whether we're elk hunting, deer hunting, running dogs, or long range hunting bear and lion. But, you know, here lately, I mean, it's become more the problem of like big organizations like PETA coming after Houndsman, and then they're going to start going after deer and elk. If they get away with making it illegal to hunt with dogs, how long do you think before they make it illegal to hunt elk and deer? You know, I mean, that's coming down the chute, and I hope because I'm only 23, but I hope I live long enough, and I hope I get to see my kids live long enough to where that's not possible and we can still hunt, you know.
That's
it's
a
definitely
big hope. That's hoping. That's
yeah.
hoping too, because
Yeah,
sooner or
I mean,
later,
I feel like I'm trying to get my dogs out every day I can. Every day I'm off, I try to get them out because if that time ever comes, you know, it's gone, and then that's it for me. I mean, I'll be doing it, but no one's gonna know about it.
yeah, I was
You
gonna
know?
say, Carl. I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
well,
Carl. These young guys, they don't know what outlawing is yet, but they
Yeah.
will. They will.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's a sad deal. It is a sad deal,
Yep.
and I don't know. I'm not a deer hunter. If you guys watch my last videos, we go out and we mess around more than we do on deer hunts. I'm not a big elk hunter. You know, my son's out right now and he turned down 4s and 5s and big, you know, but I guarantee you today or tomorrow, he's going to put something on the plate. You hang a ring on it, you can cook it on the grill.
Yep.
So I don't know if those guys fight houndsmen. I'm going to tell you this right now. The houndsman community are little whiny babies. They're jealous. They will destroy another houndsman because they're jealous. It's bad. It's bad. So
I think
it's all about
better,
turf.
It's better than it used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had it pretty
Yep.
easy, you know, before when I really started getting into it, everybody was telling me, hey, back off, you know, like, you know, don't even waste your time, you know, and when you start getting into it, like I've started catching, and now all the guys that were telling me to back off, they're like, well, you know, here's some tips. And they actually started kind of giving me some advice, which, I mean, I'm grateful for it, man. I've been pretty fortunate to where I've had a lot of guys, especially in the White Mountains, that have given me advice, and you know, I'll take it. And I'll use it what I can to learn, you know, and so, I mean, I will say that there is guys out there that'll, you know, they'll try to chase you off, but there's some good guys out there too that'll help you out, you know.
There is
And I've
some
been
good
pretty
guys
fortunate.
out there.
I found a lot of good guys out there. I mean, not everybody's, you know, I'd say, you know, out here for themselves. They're out here for the chase, and that's what I'm out here for. And I've met multiple guys that have beef with each other, and I'm just like, you guys have your beef. I'm here to learn something.
Bad
so
beef
me,
too.
You know? Yeah.
Bad beef. I mean, there used to be fights out there in the hills, and you know, I show up to a tree with someone else. You know, unless I'm there first and see who got there, I don't care. But I don't make my money off guiding. You know what I mean? That's not my livelihood. So I don't need to kill or catch the next one. You know, and there are some guys out there. There's some guys out there that kill a lot of stuff, kill a lot of sows, you know, for the money, and it ain't illegal. We can't say nothing about it.
No,
but it does kind of burn you up a little bit when they're shooting 6 bear a day or they're killing all the sows
or the limits meant within like a week.
Especially in like Unit 1.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, and when I first 27 in the old days never shut down. Right. And then after that, when I seen it shut down that one time back after the fire, I was like, wow. You know, it was just wow. But we get in trouble. This is what irks me a little bit is the houndsman will get blamed for killing everything. Ask a deer hunter. We're murdering sons of guns. But I've treated 20, 30 bear in a year and killed 2. You know what I mean? Like, and there's people out there that can't tell. There's people out there that they don't care. They don't care. They will shoot anything. And it's not illegal, but the spot and stalkers. There's very few people. There's a guy out there I could probably say, there's a couple people out there I could say could look at a bear and say, probably a sow or boar. Right. You know, when you walk to a tree, when you walked up on enough bears, your guessing rate is probably 90%. Yeah. There's been times I walked up. There's no lie. I had a guy with me from work. I walked up. I said, "That's a boar." I seen the boar's balls on the branch. He shot this bear, and it was a sow. She was so fat. She had a blocky head, you know, and I seen she had balls. when he shot her and hit the ground, but she was so fat. I think she was up on that branch, and it looked like her fat was hanging over, and it looked like she had a pair, but her head was blocky. Like, but I've been up on trees, and I said, that's a boar. And the guy said, no, peed out of her butt. I'm all, man, I would have put my money. That was a boar. And that old bear got up and stood on a branch and spread his legs. I'm like, oh, that is a boar. Just how he sat, just how he sat. But those spotting stalkers, and I get it. When you don't have hounds and you can't chase a different bear, there's times I've caught bear in the morning. You go out, you catch another bear in the afternoon.
Right.
But people don't have that opportunity. So when you're sitting in a stand and you're waiting for a deer, and a 400-pound cub runs by you, because every bear looks 400 pounds when they're running by, and you're a deer hunter that's never seen a bear, and you whack that bear, and the thing's only 125 pounds, it's still a big bear to you.
Right.
I've seen it, I've heard about it, I've seen it personally, and I get it. I get it, but it's legal, and you just have to. Hopefully, you don't shut down the unit. They don't know if it's a boar or sow, but we just get the blame for it. We get the blame for it all the time. You hear how houndsmen are always whacking everything. So,
yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I think everybody gets a little bit trigger happy. I'm guilty of it. I'll be honest with you. My first lion I retrieved my own dogs. I was like, man, this thing is huge. I didn't know. I didn't have anybody showing me. I was just, I couldn't believe that I'd caught a lion, and I was so mind boggled by it that I was on the phone with my dad because I was looking up being in service, and he's like, I'll shoot it. And I was like, and he's by no means into houndsman. Like he don't want hound dogs. He had coon dogs when he was younger. And when I say my dad, I don't mean my grandpa Dick's son. I mean my stepdad, and he only had coon dogs, and he's like, well, shoot it. And I didn't have anybody else telling me not to, and so I did. And it was it wasn't a big tom. It sat with me for a while. I felt bad for it, and to this day I think it's made me better because I've reserved myself a little bit more and held back, and and just been grateful for the chase that I haven't done it again, and so at this point I'm out there for the chase. There's all this talk about everything that's going on with hunting, and man, I just live for the chase, man. That's all I care about when it comes to it. There's nothing like it. If I got that out of I would.
You got it out of your system too, and it was your first. I mean, I shot my first bear with dogs. It wasn't a big bear. I think it was 140 pounds probably, but it was our first. It was a first bear. And I shot, and I have not shot one. That was 2010, and I haven't shot a bear since, because now I'm like, it's gonna have to be a big bear for me to shoot it. Why? Because I can go out and I can hunt another bear. Plus, I don't want to burn my tag. If I'm burning my tag, it's gonna be worth it. It's absolutely gonna be worth it. But I have enough family and kids, and
that's
come
great.
Shoot.
That's the great thing about hounds, is you can be picky.
Yeah.
It's not like when it runs by the deer hunter and you blast it, you don't know what you're blasting.
Yeah.
At least you can say, oh, well, that's a female, and by God, she's got young kittens, she's got a bag, and or you don't have no kittens with her, but she's probably got kittens somewhere.
Right.
And
well, like I said, I get it. People glassing them up because deer hunters is a prime example, because they're out there glassing. Even the archery hunters, I tell people, how many times how long you been hunting? 10 years. So you're out there walking archery. Yes, I said you've been within 30 yards of a lion probably 5 times in your life and never knew it. Never knew it. But when you don't see a lion every day or at all your whole life, you're 30, 40, 50 years old, and that old lion crosses your path, or you see it in the glasses, you're going to take a shot if you got a tag.
Yeah.
I was the same way before I got hounds. If I seen a bear down in 27 across the canyon, I didn't care how big it was. It was a
Yeah.
bear, you know. So
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I almost, when I was in high school, we were out deer hunting, and man, I think it was, I'm trying to think of when it was, but I remember bear was open, and there was a bear that I just happened to just walk right by me, and I was shaking with my bow. I was like, I was gonna shoot it, but I was just like shaking. I couldn't do it. And my buddy was sitting next to me, and he's just laughing. He's like, shoot it, and I'm like, I can't, man. I'm just shaking. It was the coolest thing experience seeing bears. You get to see these predators. I mean, you get to see these lions and these bears, and man, you wouldn't think that they're, I don't know how to word this, but you wouldn't think that you'd get that close to them. I mean, they're just so cool. And man, I've been up to a bear where I only had two dogs that were behind me, and the bear was standing right in front of me, and I'm like, oh man, I'm like, please, I'm like, tree, trying to sketch a tree, and this bear's just staring at me, and I'm like, oh
yeah.
man, I don't have a gun, man. Like, I've got two dogs here with me, my dogs are split up on two different bears, and I'm like, tree, or go away. And this bear, was probably only like 30 yards from me. It could have taken me any second. This bear just stood there and looked at me. And I was like, oh man, I had my dogs right here by me because I'd gotten a hold of them. I was like, oh man, I was shaking, and this bear just stood there for this was about like a 10-minute stand contest. And then this bear just finally was like, looked at me again and turned around and walked away. It didn't run. It didn't treat. It turned out and it walked away like, hey, I'm here and I'll wreck you.
Yeah.
It was
that's
definitely,
well, that
definitely
guy
cool.
too, the guy on the internet car that I was talking about, he was saying how you let the dog go, they take you right to the bear.
No.
Not every time. I'm not saying there ain't no easy races. I've let dogs out and caught a bear in 10 minutes, but I've also let dogs out and couldn't find my dogs for 3 days. And those bear, this is what people, and I would love to get a deer hunter on here. Those bear can at any time, turn around and kill every one of your dogs.
Oh yeah.
Those dog bites don't hurt those bears.
No.
Those dog bites don't hurt. It's all it does is pressure them. So when you got 10 dogs out there, let's say 6 dogs, it's just pressuring them. But that bear, all he has to do is pick that dog up and bite him in his head. And he could kill every one of them dogs just under 45 seconds if you want. Just same with a lion. Lion could kill a dog quicker, not like before you blink.
Oh yeah. So. My grandpa Dick told me a story, and he told a lot, but this one I always remember. He had bought a hunter with him at the time, and he wasn't big on taking hunters out, but he bought a hunter with him, and all this guy brought was a 22 revolver. And this was a big old bear, and it wasn't scared of the dogs. I mean, they were walking up to the tree, and that bear, he shot it with his pistol, and that bear came out of the tree, blew through all the dogs, and pinned my grandpa up against the tree, And luckily, a couple good old dogs were able to get it off him, but the bear had my grandpa pinned up against the tree, and you hear about stuff like that, and it just boggles you because everybody says, oh, running dogs is easy, it's all day. I'll tell you, I've been doing this for about 2 years now, and I really got into it myself in the last year and a half. And I'd done it when I was a kid a little bit here and there, and I didn't catch nothing until this last December 31st. It was the first time I caught something by myself with my, I'd never seen nothing in a tree before then. And I finally, this was lots of money wasted, lots of time just being out there, just trying to figure these lions out, trying to figure bears out, and not having a clue what I'm doing, and just reading all the books I can, trying to understand it. It just, there's a lot of struggle to learning how to run dogs. I mean, people just think it's easy. It's not. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and it takes a lot of time. I mean, I've spent a lot of time not catching, and I'll say that right now. I spent a lot of time wishing I was catching, about to hang it up and give it up, and and just praying I get lucky, frustrated. The first bear I ever caught I just happened to be. I let all my dogs out, thinking I'd walk this ledge looking for a lion, and at this time I wasn't running bear, and all my dogs took off barking, and I'm like, what the hell? What's going on?
Coyote,
and
coyote.
Like instantly I'm like, coyote, right? It's a coyote. It's got to be a coyote, and I'm like, okay. So I'm walking with my older dog, and I'm like, And all of a sudden I look, and like not even like 30 yards in front of me, I'm like, what the heck is that? And I just see this tree shaking. And I walk over there, and there's a damn bear in the tree. And I'm like, that was the first time I ever caught something. I was like, holy cow, I couldn't believe it. I was like, there's no way. I mean, it was something else. It's mind-boggling when you put in all that work and all that effort. I mean, I've gone nights without sleeping, just trying to get out there, getting off after night shift of work and going out and trying to catch something. When you finally catch something, you just can't believe it. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah, all that money ain't wasted no more when you catch something.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, I'll tell you, and I've ruined a couple of pickups already. In like 2 years, I've ruined them, just trashed them. I've been putting them back together piece by piece. And I just been really fortunate, to get to do this. You don't. A lot of guys don't get to do this, and the guys that do, seems like not all of them are as appreciative that they get the opportunity to do it. And I tell you, I'm just grateful to get to do it. I count my blessings every time I go out with my dogs that I'm out there. So
I don't know any wealthy houndsmen that.
Right, you don't. I mean, I've never heard one.
They made it somewhere else, or they inherited it, or they married it.
Yep. Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yep.
That's a fact. I haven't done either. So, no,
Yeah,
it is tough.
Oh yeah.
And Timothy, he said the more you spend in the woods, the better your odds of catching, and that's true. Dogs don't learn nothing in the chain, but I know people who can only get out on the weekends, and they do. But also, I had a client who went with me hunting. We didn't get him a bear, but he's seen, I guess, how easy it is to catch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes it is easy when you let out.
Yeah.
I said, listen, it's not this easy. Don't get dogs. Don't get dogs. Just stick to having friends with dogs. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's cheaper. Yeah. It's better.
A lot cheaper.
Well, he got into dogs and realized. And then what happens? This is exactly what happens. People get into dogs. Guy says, oh, I got a dog for you. And then he gives him a dog. And then the dog, usually if a guy gives you a dog, and let me tell you something about that. I always say that if God gives you a dog, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it to that guy. Now, I've seen dogs. I have one right now. A guy tried to tell me he's on 200 bear, 100 lions. Nails are this long. She's fat. I said, I don't know when she was on it. She's 3 years old. I don't know when she was on it, but 200 bears, 3 years old. Let's just say you start running her at 9 months, 6 months. That's a lot of bear. Not true. But she's with me now.
One of the best dogs I ever had, though, Chris, was given to me. Unbelievable.
It happens because dogs are like people. I may not like you, right? I may work with you and we don't like each other, and then I'll go work with another guy. And because I don't like you, I'm not going to work hard for you. I go work with another guy, and the guy's cool. I'm going to double my work. And the dogs are the same way. They're absolutely the same way. I've given a dog to a guy, and he brought her back. He bought her from me. He brought her back. He says, this dog's worthless. I went and caught a bobcat next week. Worthless for him. But there's people who have dogs, and I don't claim to be a good houndsman. I'm good enough for me. I'm not here to impress nobody. I don't post 80% of what I catch because I don't want the game wardens. They already harassed me enough. And they know who they are. They're watching this right now. You know what I mean? I don't need to brag about what I catch. I do a YouTube. I don't show half of the stuff that happens. And that's, but they're good enough for me. My dogs are good enough for me. And if they weren't good enough for me, it's okay. And I've taken dogs, and I took that dog back. It just didn't work out for him. She worked for me. And that's how it is, and that's I like breeding my own dogs. Well, I let them breed. I try not to breed them. I like my own dogs, my line, because it's hard for me to go pick a puppy from somewhere, because out of the six dogs you have in your litter, you can watch them. You can throw food out in the yard. You can watch them play with the chickens or trail, like how they work. It's hard for me to pick one out. It really is.
Oh yeah.
So I'm fortunate. I have my own line of dogs. I've had them since 2005. I got them from a good guy. The guy did a lot of dry ground hunting. I've given my dogs to people that do this every day and have said, "Your dog's badass. You're lying. I like it." You know. And I gave him 2 dogs. One crapped in the box, and he's like, "You want it back?" I'm like, "No, give it to someone else. I don't want to." You know,
Yeah.
that was just something he didn't like about her. She crapped in the box, but her sister came out phenomenal. You know,
Right.
and it's just even my dad has my line of dogs, and I don't even like those dogs because I have my dogs at home. You know, so it's
Right.
hard for me to even take a puppy off that line. You know, and I think everybody would agree if you have your own line of dogs and you're kind of particular to them. And obviously, you got to bring in new stuff, and I have brought in new stuff before. You know, just to keep my line from getting too. You know, I've been trying to inbreed for 2 noses, but it ain't working. One day, I'll inbreed enough to get 2 noses on them. You know, but that's just how it is. I think houndsmen are very particular of their dogs. If you're, that's where I was going with this. There's people who have dogs. There's people who are houndsmen.
Right.
There's people who they don't care if they catch nothing. They watch the progress of their dogs.
Yeah.
So to me, when you have your dog, and I have more respect, and I've said this 100 times, some people don't agree with me. I don't think you're a full houndsman unless you get a puppy, you raise that puppy, and train that puppy on your own, so you know how a dog works. You can go buy dogs all day long.
Oh
I
yeah.
wish, I just, to me, my luck, I go buy a dog for 5, 6, 7, 8 grand. And my mule would kick him in the head probably the next day, even though she's never kicked a dog in her life. That's my luck. You know, so if you're just buying dogs, I'm not saying you're not a good dogs guy, but
Right.
unless you've raised puppies and trained a puppy without older dogs, I had to start that way. I was fortunate in the 90s. A guy gave me dogs. And then I got divorced. I got rid of dogs. I had the Bam Bam Walker line. Let it go. And then I had to get in. I got the Salazar line now. So I had to start over. And then I was doing good. And I had a javelina hunter run over my dog down in my lead dog down in Tonto Basin. I lost my rig dog. I lost my lead dog. And I didn't have I had to start over again. I had dogs and they step up, but they're not I have a dog right now, 9 years old. And I'm like dreading the day he just can't make the race no more. You know, so you'll get there. You're just a young guy.
Yeah.
You'll figure, but you will figure it out, right, Carl?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll just keep counting my blessings, man. I mean, I was pretty fortunate. I got dogs off the late Drayton Martin. I got some good dogs off him. He'd hooked me up with a good deal, and he did me good. And he gave me this dog. He actually gave me this one dog. Her name is Viva. She's a walker. And he said, this dog is this dog I wasn't gonna give you to her because I was fixing to put her to bed. She was worn out, about ready to be put down. I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, just take care of her, for the time you got with her.
Pup
And
trainer.
yep, pup training. And I was like, okay, I mean, all right, yeah, I'll take care of her. And he made me promise him a couple things, and I agreed to him, out of respect. And I ended up that dog. I mean, she's 14 years old, and she made a 15-mile bear race the other day. Like,
Hey, yep.
caught the bear. Like, she wasn't the first one to the tree by no means, but she made it to the tree, and man, she was happy as can be, breathing hard like me, but she was there, And
I had my 15-year-old, same thing. They got to the end. She was 15, and I wouldn't let her go till I knew they were treed. And it was like under a mile or something,
Yep.
and then I'd let her run. But man, she went to the end, man. And those are great puppy trainers. God,
yeah.
I love it.
Oh man, it just blows my mind. I mean, that dog just has so much spirit. I mean, I take care of my dogs better than I take care of myself.
Yep.
I tend to, because they do good by me, and I'll try to do good by them.
My kids tell me that all the time. I bet you if you had one steak, you'd feed it to your dogs and not us.
Yeah.
No, I'd share it with my dogs, but not you.
I gotta give you a bite.
Yep.
The hell,
Yeah.
most of them dogs don't live that long.
Right.
Most of them
Yeah.
dogs don't live to be old. I've had dogs, but they usually don't make it. They wear out. Something
A
happens
good
to
dog. Your good dogs. Always
Yeah.
lose your good dogs.
them. Yeah.
Always. It's them dogs. I have an Andy. I had an Andy dog. The dog was 10 years old and he got strep A in his leg and like his skin fell off. Like within 3 days, it was horrible. But every year I wanted to shoot that dog. I'm not gonna lie. I put my gun in that dog's head. And I'm like, I hate you. But the poor dog had heart, and he was a hunt trashy. He was trashy. Like if you got on an elk track, he'd run an elk track. But if you got him on a bear track, he'd run it. You know what I
Right.
mean? He'd run a lion track, he'd run it, and he worked good with my dirty dog. Dirty was a couple years younger than him, but they worked great together. Andy was just if you ever seen Of Mice and Men, the big dummy Lenny, that was my Andy. I should have named him Lenny because he's just a big dummy dog. So, but he worked, and that dog, I seen him grab a bear and get drug up a tree, holding him by his butt. You know, he just when I think I trust him, I'd let him out on a rig, and 80 yards later, he had a porcupine up in a tree. I'm all,
Oh my God.
and you know,
Yeah.
but you're good dog. Now you're good dog. It's hard to keep them safe. I swear, you lose that good dog before you lose that bad dog. But they all play a part. You know,
Yeah.
every dog plays a part. Even your dummy dogs, they play a part. You know.
Oh yeah.
What say you, Carl? Carl, you're the wise wisdom one here.
Yeah. I want to
Any
hear from
advice?
you.
Any advice? Any advice for the young whippersnappers?
Just keep hammering away at it. You know, he was saying how he wasn't catching much. Well, you know, a guy goes out. I don't care. In the snow, you're going to catch more of them. You go out 7 days, and if you catch one in 7 days, you're doing pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you go and you go and you go. It's not a just keep hammering away at it. Hell, you'll do good.
Yeah, you don't catch them sitting at home.
That's
Yeah.
right. You don't
You
even
know?
catch every snow line. It just don't happen. Things happen.
No. You know, is it easier? Yeah, of course it's easier. You
Find
know,
them.
at least you know what you're running. When
Yeah.
your dogs take off, you look down in that snow, you see that track or whatever. You know what you're running, or you find a track. But,
Yeah.
and you know, when you're dry ground and you can't see a track, you're like, man. And you always doubt your dogs. Always. First thing they do, take off. You're like, hope it's not a coyote or deer. So you're looking on your GPS, seeing if they're doing circles, see if they're running a straight line. You know, and when I first got my GPS, I was glued to it. And then now people are like, where's your dogs? I'm like, I don't know. I can hear them over there. And they're like, don't you got GPS? I'm like, you're right. I do. You know, especially when you're on a mule. You don't got a mule yet, do you?
Yeah.
Hold.
I've got right now I've got 2 horses. One's a Mustang that I've been running for a while, and I've got an old horse that I pack off of. And so I try to stick behind my dogs as much as I can, and man, my horses have made it a lot easier.
Yeah.
They move, man. Them dogs move. You know, and in my generation, like we are spoiled. You know, we're so spoiled. We have this Garmin that sits here and tells us, okay, your dogs are doing this, they're going this way, they're barking a lot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the most I've learned is being behind my dogs and walking down and being like, okay, I know I put him on this lion track. I know I put him on it. So what's going on? And I go down there, and this lion track, I've followed it out myself, and I'm confused. I'm like, okay, it's backtracked twice. It's jumped off down this way, and it's crossed back over, all in like 30 minutes. Like, how's it doing this? You know, like the Garmin's are cool, but they're only gonna tell you so much. You gotta really rely on your dogs, and I'm trying to learn that more, you know, because those things make it so easy to just like they're there, you know. But man, I just think about like Cole and how my grandpa learned, and probably how you learned, Chris, like going off of just pings, you know, on a signal, trying to match a frequency and hearing your dogs and just following the bug. I'm like, man, you know, this generation was so spoiled compared to how you guys did it. You know, you guys were a lot more in touch with your dogs. And I try to rely on just my dogs as much as I can, and I try to ignore that thing when I can, you know.
I hunted with a guy. This is no lie. I just got my Garmin. I still use the 220. I just went to the Alpha 100 that I bought 2 years ago, but
Oh, wow.
I use my Alpha 220 still. And I would look at my Alpha when I first got it. I'm hunting with this guy in a whole new area, and I see it 300 yards, and he puts his little beep beep up. He says, I go, how far do you think those are? And he goes, I don't know, like 300 yards. Because he knew that beep. He knew the signal. He knew. They get out there a little more, and I asked him again. I said, what do you think they're at? He says, I don't know, 800 yards. I look at my Garmin. That guy was right on the money, man. He's been using that beep beep a long time. So
when I started, I didn't beep beep.
I didn't have nothing. I had shot collars, and it's going to sound horrible, but you know how I located my dogs? They're that way. I was horrible, man. I didn't know nothing, you know. I did, and you know, at night when it's getting dark, you're like, where are my dogs? You know, and when I got that Garmin, I tell you what though, even though Brett Vaughn just now said Garmin is cheating, and then he followed up with what do you put? But should say I've been known to cheat. I learned a lot. Yeah. I've learned a lot off that Garmin, watching my dogs, how they backtrack, how they circle around, you know. So if you're just out there and you're not making no noise,
yeah,
it's cool to watch that Garmin and watch how they work that mountain and watch how they go up that mountain, or watch how they come back and backtrack. I had to put Rowdy on the night because he'll sit on here and talk crap all night if I don't. You working? You working?
Yeah, I was doing finance paperwork for my station here. I had a bunch of receipts that I had to enter in.
That's a nice flannel and hat.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Well, don't want to get into trouble. I gotta fixing to get going. I gotta go get dogs fed, and I think I'm gonna head back up and go look for my dog Digger and see if I can locate him.
That's a fact. He lost his dog. When did you lose that dog?
It's been about 3 days now. So.
He's all right. The snow's gone. At least there's water out there. That's a big part. You know, you're not in the desert. That's a huge part.
You know, I'm hoping I find him. I crawled into the dens that he was last by, and hoping he was in there. And I'll keep looking for him. You know.
Have you tried throwing out a coat or something?
I have thrown out my coat, and I got dog food on it.
There you go.
Know, and so I'm just gonna keep going out. You know, the only way to find him is to keep looking. So
that's right. Yep.
I tell you what. When you're hunting, you're down in 27 or 1.
Yes, sir. 1 right now.
You know, when you get down, and I always forget to do this. When you get down in them dirty spots, you should carry a little tiny game camera. So when you leave that coat and dog food there, you could throw that up there somewhere close and see if that sucker comes back in. You know what I mean?
That's a good idea.
So, I have never thought of that. You know, I've never thought of that, and I think I might do that and try that.
I would. I mean, even if you have 2 or 3 of them, put them in the area. You know. Yeah. You know, I lost 2 dogs down in.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been hitting the road trying to figure out where his tracks are, because I've seen his tracks a couple times, but on that same day I lost him, there was quite a bit of wolves up there that I'd seen in person, like I'd seen with my own eyes, just hanging out. So I'm just gonna keep hitting it. I've seen a lot of wolf tracks up there, and seeing the lion track I was chasing from the day before crossed back over. So I'm hoping that he's okay.
You know what the 3 S's are, don't you?
No.
I don't know if I should say it online. I'll text you. I'll text you later what the 3 S's are.
Sounds like a plan. Hey,
I don't want the game.
Nice hearing from you, Chris. It was a pleasure being on your channel.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
Rowdy, it was good to see you for a second.
Yes, sir. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you guys have a good one, all right?
Good luck, man.
Good luck with the dog.
All right, have a good one.
Let me see here. Who is? Someone has a fan here. No one tells me love you. Who is this, Bella? Is that your old lady? You see it? Bella Lord. Love you, Doug. What the hell?
Bunch of kissy faces too.
I know. Is that her? You find her. If that's her, you better find her. Put her on. Put her on the internet. He's going for it. Rowdy, what's up?
Oh, not much. Just been at work. This is day 7 now. So.
Let me see here. Good luck on finding him. All right, we've seen it. Yeah, I know some bird dog guys and use a different bell. Oh yeah, bells. That's not a bad idea putting bells on, but
yeah,
I don't know if that'd help us.
Dinner bell for the wolves.
I still use.
Yeah.
If I go very far away, like down in Unit 1 or 27 or down by Payson, I still use my old telemetry shit right alongside of my Garmin.
Yeah, and they got batteries that last 10,000 hours. That's like a year.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. Veronica. Who is Veronica? Who is this Bella girl?
That would be kind of a sweetheart of mine.
I didn't know this was Match.com.
It ain't. I just mentioned to her that I was going to call her, and then you got a hold of me, and I said, well, maybe I'll wait till after this thing's over.
Well, she's watching you. She's a good stalker. She's
She's a good one.
You been out, Rowdy? You been out at all?
Last Sunday I went out. Yeah, I put a wet female up, so dogs struck the track, and so I came in behind them and found her tracks, and she had a couple young kittens with her. Went up on the ridge. Yeah. So put them up on the ridge, and then they got her jumped, and she booked it. She went about probably a mile and a half from where they jumped her at, over the top of a ridge, heading due south. Dogs did good. Took her out of a snowy canyon over this ridge and into the bare ground, and put her up a tree. So took me like 6.5 to maybe right at 7 hours to get all the way around to get into the tree. The roads were bad, washed out. So
did you guys get some rain, some good rain? I don't know who this Bella girl is, but we love her. Carl, if you're gonna make me $10 every time you come on, you're on every week. I don't know. Is this prostitution maybe on here?
Oh, maybe? No way.
Am I selling Carl?
It's OnlyFans.
Not a prostitute.
Oh, Dustin has a new hat that says Only Hounds. It's pretty cool. Looks like the Only on OnlyFans, but it says Only Hounds.
There you go.
Of, Strike, was that Cold Strike gear? So,
yeah, Cold Strike, yeah.
Mm-hmm. West Coast Telemetry makes a tag along beep beep that goes right on your TT15 collar strap. Really?
I like that.
I've seen guys put them on, one collar, which is nice.
Have you guys been having issues with your Garmin collars? The Garmin antennas breaking? I've been having antennas break right above the rubber strap.
I have all like aftermarket ones already.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So all my Garmin made collar antennas are breaking, and then I think off. So I've had a couple issues now where I just lost all communications, and if I wasn't within like 300 yards, I couldn't pick them up.
I have a couple that do that or did that, and I think it's my GPS, but my old DC-30s where they had the GPS, the little GPS on the collar, and then the wire came out that went to the unit.
Yeah.
It would squish those down, and that I ended up would take them. Yes, I would take them apart. When I got new ones, I'd take them and I grind that out to where it clamped down, so it would sit in there. And if you're worried about water, you just put a little dab of silicone on, I guess. I never did, but
Yeah.
I loved my GP. I loved my 220. I really did. I still use it. You know, I think we lost Carl, or maybe he got in trouble. Maybe the lady seen it. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
But
old lady found out about the girlfriend.
maybe. I gotta get my batteries done on mine. That's what I gotta do. Problem with my intent. Oh, I've heard this a lot too. Get chewed on them.
Yeah.
You know, I put those.
Yeah.
I think I've showed you on here before. I put the 22 mag rounds or 22 rounds on the end of them, and I think that
I did that.
helps out a lot too.
As far as the ends getting frayed out, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the puppies chew on those ends too, and I think it helps a little bit. But they will. Them puppy. I don't have chewing dogs. Thank God. None of my puppies, besides this stupid border collie puppy I got laying around here somewhere.
Yeah, mine are finally starting to grow out of that. They're 2 years old now.
There's Carl. He's back.
There he is.
Yeah, I got a phone call and it cut me off.
Oh, that'll happen.
Yep. It was probably that girl. Who knows?
No,
Veronica.
It was a neighbor. I finally got somebody to do the plumbing in my house, and he works till late, but he's gonna come over and give me an estimate on it. We're just swapping out for hunting.
Nice.
Yeah, my daughter's fixing up my guest house.
Dealing.
Oh yeah, I'm a bartering, horse trading sucker. My daughter's fixing up my guest house, and it's hard to find anybody. I don't want a company coming in. I just want somebody that works at a company and wants to do some Saturday work. I did find an electrician, and I know a little bit. So I had my daughter run all the wires, told her what to run, what you want, where she wants something, and he's coming in Friday to finish it up. You know,
nice.
But dang, trying to find anybody who wants to do work on the side.
I had a guy.
It's ridiculous.
Hunting really bad. Matter of fact, he went bear hunting with me a few years ago, and he's an electrician down in the valley, and he kept saying he was going to do it, and finally he finally made it up after a bunch of excuses, and finally he kept making excuses where I said, dude, you don't want to hunt bad enough. So I've been doing electrician stuff myself. I finished it. Some of them plug-ins today.
Nice. Good job.
It just takes forever when you're hunting, and you wake up early to go hunting. And then when you get back in the afternoon, you go,
it's time for a nap.
Like doing it.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's funny, if you worked all day and got home and had time to go run dogs, you wouldn't think twice about it. That's like when your alarm goes off in the morning, you got to go to work, you just hit that snooze 3 or 4 times. When it's hunting day, the alarm don't even have to go off. You wake up to see what time it is, and I could get up now.
The difference between drinking a glass of water and drinking a dozen beers in an evening.
That's fact. That's fact.
I don't know what the difference is, but it sure is a lot easier to drink a 12-pack than one glass of water.
Yeah.
Yep. They tell you to drink a gallon of water a day and you'll be healthy as a horse, but it's hard. It's hard. There you go. There's someone that'll trade a concrete work for a lion hunt. Got any concrete work there, Carl?
No, I did all that myself too. Well, I had the neighbor guy come over and help me a little bit. But I'm out of concrete work.
I've got a 15 by 50 slab that I got to pour.
I wonder where this old guy lives.
Yeah.
Where do you live there, Craig and Rebecca? Maybe which one do you think is it? Rebecca that's doing the work or Craig?
Well, she's probably the boss. She's the foreman.
She's probably the boss. Well, Carl, I know you got a good story.
I thought of one earlier, and then we got off on another subject. And we was talking about the snow hunting.
Yep.
When it's snow on the ground, hell, you people you never even dream with it. They all have a dog box in the back, you know.
Yeah.
But when you're dirt hunting, you don't never meet nobody. I mean, it's a big state. There's people out there hunting, but you don't run into them. Or I've never
Yeah.
yet.
I don't see a single person all summer.
The
Not a
Not
single
where I
person.
hunt.
The
So-
best one was I was out in Chevelon Canyon hunting. It was this guy's last day of his hunt. And the dog started, we was going down the rim of the canyon, you know, how the lines go. And all of a sudden, we just turned out the pickup, parked the pickup and walked out to the rim. And away they went boo-hoo. And I'll get over there and look, and hell, there's a big old tom track there. I think, shit, we're off. Good one here. I mean, they was going on it, you know. Pretty soon they bailed off over in the canyon and up on the other side and started treeing. And I thought, hell's bells, they already got the thing. And we looked over there, and you could see a line in the top of the tree. This tree was growing out of a rock and hanging out over the canyon. I thought,
That's
shit,
cool.
we got him, you know. So we make our way to the bottom, and we start walking down the bottom and then up to the other side to where it was at. And I just started walking up the other side, and I started hearing other dogs barking. I thought, what the hell? Them ain't my dogs. I mean, I could hear my dogs too, but I didn't recognize these other ones. And I thought, what in the hell? Well, I look up there, and there's two people on top of the hill by that tree, and this guy starts dragging these dogs down, one in each arm, or two maybe, I don't remember. But he comes down, he says, hi, I'm Brian Jensen. He says, I work for the
I know
Arizona
Brian.
Fish Department, and I collar all these lines around here. We just caught this female up here, and we're going to collar it. And I said, hi, I'm Doug Boykin. This is my client, Tom Cole. And
You want him to shoot it before you collar it or after?
no, he says, you can shoot the line if you want to. He said, it's a female. I said, no, hell no, we ain't shooting no female. We never even walked to the tree. So we start going down the canyon and checking where this Tom had crossed. And I'm telling you, I could never find where the thing went except straight up to that tree. So about 3 years later, I run into old Brian. I had some Canadian guys here, and we was going to chase the line down and let him collar it because it was a female. We didn't want to poop with it, you know. Mm-hmm. So I called Brian. So he got to telling stories to these Canadians. I mean, that guy knows his shit. He's got it on Garmin. He knows what they do, everything they do.
Yep.
So
wouldn't it be cool to have one of those guys as a friend?
He's my best
he has.
friend.
He's
but he's not going to release. He's not going to tell you nothing.
Oh,
no, he won't tell you. You know what?
At least he can teach you some.
Let me tell you the rest of the story.
How
so what happened was I run into him. He tells the story. Well, when it was all done, I said, you know, this has been bothering me for a couple of years now, Brian. I said, that day when I met you in the bottom of Chevelon Canyon, I said, we looked around for that Tom. We never could find where he went except up there. And he says, God damn it, I knew you was going to catch me on that sooner or later. He says, we just got to the tree. And his dogs, first he said my dogs must have heard his dogs treeing and went off.
Oh, you know? Yeah, absolutely what happened. Of course.
So anyway, he says, I knew you was going to get me on that. He says, I never even looked in the tree to see what that was. We just got there and found your dogs there, and I seen you walking down the bottom. He said, I just figured that's what happened. He said, it was a big old Tom.
Oh, that son of a
dirty rat.
That's a state worker for you right there. That's a
we
state
laugh
worker.
at that. I'm telling you, he's a good friend of mine. No, I really like Brian.
Well, I remember I was telling you about the guy who has that dog of mine. And the other dog that's Brian has that dog.
Okay. Yeah, I knew that. I knew he had a dog of yours.
Yeah. Well, he named it Watson. So it's, my aunt was up in Kaibab. She calls me, says, hey, are you up here hunting? I said, no. I got a dog here. It has your name on it. It says Watson. I said, that's Brian. That's Brian. He's up there.
That's funny.
He said she turned out real good. Damn red bones.
I know Watson.
Yep.
How long has that collar been on her now?
Well, no, that's the dog's name. That's what he calls it. I guess he puts the name on the collars. So.
Oh.
I don't. But.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. That's
Anyway,
my.
he's a lot of fun. I learned a lot from him. I thought I knew everything about lion hunting, but
Oh, that's what he does every day, all day long. Every day, all day long.
I mean, he knows
I
some
like
of the
Russ.
shit. He knows
Yeah.
some of the shit that they do that I thought I knew, but
He got mad at me. He got mad at me a few weeks ago because when he had that litter out of Watson, that dog, he asked for. I texted him. I said, "Save me a pup," and then like he wanted money for him, and I was like 2 months later, he's like, "Hey, do you want a pup?" I'm like, "Oh man, I got a bunch of pups right now." So I think he got mad because I didn't. You said you wanted one. I'm like, now I'm puppy rich. Like, I kind of regret it. I wish I would have grabbed the dog out of her, but
I got
yeah,
one.
did you? Yeah, he said, "Well, say what you mean and do what you say." I don't know. I think he got mad at me. I didn't mean to. I just had too many puppies. I had 4 pups and I ended up keeping them. So, but I thought he was gonna sell them all.
I think he did sell them all. I bought that one. Good little dog. I mean, he's a cute little bastard. I don't know what he's gonna do, but he seems like a good dog.
Yep. I got all that. So that's out of the Salazar line. That's out, and that dog there is actually out of a paper. Like the grandfather was a papered huge red bone, and the mom was the black and tan out of the red fern, out of Sloan's. Do you know the Sloan's?
I've heard of them, yeah.
Well, they gave me a dog out of that, and that's what that dog. I know that dog's. I don't know who he bred him to or what the father of it is, but I know the mom. So, little info for you. So there is some red fern stuff in her, and I'd have to look at what that big old red dog was. I don't know what the red dog was, but it was papered. My dad, it's out of my dad's, and I gave my dad that black and tan out of the red fern stuff, out of the Sloan stuff.
This one's he's colored. He's a red tick looking.
Yeah, I think it's the one my dad wanted. I don't know if he got hold of him. He texted me, "What does your dad want?" And I sent him a number, so I don't know if they got together. I hate being the middleman.
Yeah, 2 of them pups was red ticks, and I told him I wanted one of them.
Yep, that's out of my stuff right there. Good stuff. I infiltrated you, Carl. I infiltrated you.
Oh,
now I just got to get some of your blood back. So, well, shoot, guys. That hour goes quick. I told you, Carl. The hour goes quick. So, but hey, I appreciate you coming on, Rowdy.
Oh yeah, sorry I wasn't here earlier. Freaking work gets in the way all the time.
Oh, that working's for poor people, right,
I'm
Carl?
Poor.
You got dogs. Of course you're broke.
He said he had to get his safety man in line. I know how that is.
Oh, yep. So, all righty, Carl. Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on, taking some time.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. Thanks for inviting me.
Yep. Sure, I'll see you out there.
Good to see you again.
I'm around. I'm just down South Arizona right now. Why hunt the snow when I can come chase my mule's ass around in the stupid desert with a cholla everywhere?
Yeah, the chollas. I'm glad we don't have those up here.
Oh,
I didn't even go up to your mountain this year.
Lake Mountain?
Yeah.
Everybody says you're on Lake. I said, yeah, I caught a bear. You're on Lake? I said, no, there's no bears up in 3B no more, Carl.
I know.
Not a lot. You used to be able to catch 6 the weekend if you just went on the weekend. Now, can't catch nothing up there. There's a few, but nothing spectacular. Man, we used to catch big bears around there, big muscled bears.
Yeah.
But it ain't me.
There, you could catch a lot of bears, but man, it's been bad. And the problem I hate them damn wolves. I was over there the other day lion hunting, and we got into a wolf problem, and I just don't want to deal with it, But so far, no dogs. But that's the 3rd time we've had wolf problems.
Where are you out of, Carl?
Pardon?
Where are you out of?
Snowflake.
Right next door to me, up in Sholo,
Oh.
Arizona.
Okay. What do you guys
North-
got those Mexican wolves in, or what are those?
And
Yeah,
they're
are they
just
bad?
spreading. They're spreading worse than COVID did the first round. It's stupid. I
Yeah.
bumped into that cute little wolf lady. What's her name? Annie or something.
Yeah.
I kind of embarrassed her because she goes, "Oh," I said, "You're the wolf lady, huh?" She goes, "Yeah." She goes, I go, "Yeah, everybody knows you," but she goes, "Oh, I'm Annie," or whatever her name was. I was like, "Oh, I don't know about that, but everybody says the cute little wolf lady." She got about as red as you could get. I think I embarrassed her a little bit. But they have a den. She was over by Lake Mountain, and I've seen them over by Wishbone.
Yeah.
The wolf, the collared wolf. I'm just like, God.
There been any issues with them going after hounds yet?
Didn't someone just lose some dogs to hound or lose some hounds to the wolves? I seen on Facebook. I don't know if that was anywhere here.
I don't know if that was in Arizona. I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know. I don't like them.
I hadn't heard any issues with the Mexican wolves, but I'm not in the circle down there. You guys be in.
They're not as bad as I think, those big timber wolves up north where they just, but they're still bad.
They're like half the size though, right? Like 60 to 90 pounds.
It's like a big coyote. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So
when I guided down there in Quamato for a spring for turkeys, and they're coming out. They said not to shoot any of the wolves because we would shoot the coyotes, right? They said make damn sure it wasn't a wolf because they were on the ranch there.
3 S's. The 3 S's.
Mhm.
You know what the 3 S's are?
Oh,
Rowdy?
yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna have to fill in old Colt over there. So, yeah, the gray wolves. Who is that? Timothy. Yeah, those gray wolves. You hear bad stories about up north. Real bad stories.
That's one of my dreams, to go up there and help with those, remove those from the earth.
What state is that this state is protected and this state is not protected, and they all hunt that border and kill them out of? Is that
Wyoming, Montana?
Is that what it is?
I think so.
Oh, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can shoot them in Wyoming as long as they're not up there in that country around the park.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is, and everybody gets mad because they shoot them out of the park. So, or they come out.
You come out of the park and they get shot, and then the wolf lovers get upset.
Horrible. There's nothing worse either than a wolf.
I gotta go. My neighbor guy's here, man.
Go get get it done, Carl.
Hey, thanks for
coming on.
Have a good evening.
Good to meet you too, bud.
Yes, sir.
See you later.
Yeah,
bye.
I hear your radio going off.
I'd be making that a point to go up there and hunt them. If I lived up there, I'd be hunting along the border all the time. Just to help thin them out.
I just don't get it. And I've talked to Game and Fish, and when I first started doing it a long while ago, and they said, federal comes in and says, "Hey, do you want to help with the wolves here?" And they say, "Absolutely not." And I said, "Well, they're coming anyways, so you're either a part of it or you're not."
Yeah,
it's not I don't know. They were eradicated
for a reason.
And the Mexican wolf probably ain't as bad until they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your neighbor's not a bad neighbor till he is. Your car don't run like crap till it does. Mm-hmm. And when it does, it leaves you stranded. Or your neighbor.
Them Canadian wolves, though, I hear everything that they do. They're a problem from the start.
Yep. But there's only 5% of America that hunts, man. Our problem is our youth.
Yeah. I can tell you, my kids, they've all been out to the trees with me. Well, my son hasn't yet, but my girls have been to trees with me. So,
I just
love to go hunting.
I got a picture of my daughters walked in. It was like they're 5 years old. My twin sons, when they were 9 or 4. I got a picture of them at a tree. We always do selfies. The bear up. So I got my 2 little 5-year-old twin boys pointing up in the tree, and then the bear's right there. Then
That's awesome, man.
I drug my 5-year-old girls in. They wanted to go, and it was like 5, 6, 7, 800. It was a little hike. They didn't care, man. They were going. They were booking, and so I got a selfie with them too. So
nice. Yeah, I do pretty much the same thing. I'll do a little short video of it and have my girls talk about it, and then show the lion up in the tree. And then this will be the first winter I'll started taking my son. I've taken him once or twice, and no luck. But
you know what I hate about this generation? Even us, we're guilty of it. Is
copy.
And you can't go to someone's house anymore, and on their coffee table is a photo album. I love photo albums. Photo albums. How many pictures you got on your phone right now that if your phone lost, you're screwed?
Thousands.
And and there's Snapfish. I mean, there's all kinds of photo bucket where you can just, and Snapfish gives 100 prints a year, 100 prints a month free usually.
Really?
You just send them in, and
yeah. My wife and I were just talking, like, I don't know, about 3 weeks ago, about we need to start putting pictures in albums, and we just bought a new printer. Yeah, we just bought a new printer so we can start printing them out.
Hey man, go to Snapfish. They give you 100 a month, the 4x6s for free. Usually.
Really?
So yeah.
Snapfish.
And then you just upload on your phone. You just got to be careful on your phone. You got to get in there when you start doing it. You got to re-edit them and shape them sometimes.
Okay.
But no, and it is. And I print out a lot. I still got them in boxes at home, but at least I have them now. I love photo albums.
For sure.
Photo albums. You used to go to people's house and they show you, they didn't do this. You know, you just sit there and look at all the deer. You know, it's cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we got a bunch of pictures up on the wall. We're starting to do the photo albums. We got a couple. I don't know. I think we got 3 started. So.
Yep. And what I like the best too when you walk in someone's house is when you got natural pictures. People holding the bear up, not studio pictures. You know, someone falling off a fence or they're watering a dog and they got that picture. I told my old lady, you can spend whatever you want. If my house is covered, just in those pictures, you know, real life pictures.
Yep. Kids watering dogs, kids, you know, playing on the trampoline, stuff like that. Yep. That's what we got.
Absolutely. I love it. You know, photo albums. Let's bring photo albums back, people.
Right. So this next week, we're going to go cut our Christmas tree. Finally, we've been procrastinating. I've been working it'll be 10 days when I get home, or 11. I'll get home on Saturday. It'll be 11 days.
You've been working straight?
Yeah, I had 2 days off this week, but they were island days, you know, work one day, get the next day off, work one day, get the next day off, and it screws it up. So I don't have time to go home. And
it's hard to go hunting too. Like if you, even if it's 2 days off. So I you know, I'm down south, so I bring my mules and dogs.
Yeah.
That way after work or whatever, I just run. I'm only like 20, 30 minutes away, you know, so I'll go out and just at least run my dogs.
I work out of town, so it's a 3-hour ride to work for me. So.
It takes me 3.5, 4 hours to get home to my house.
Yeah.
So in the winter time, my old lady's from Illinois and she hates the snow. So she'll come down to Phoenix where it's 60 degrees, you know, where it's nice. So in the winter, she'll come down here. I get to hunt the lions down here because they're killing some Sonoran antelope. So I need to go. And that unit, I looked at it and it says female harvest only. So I think I could kill as many males as I want down there. Not me personally, but I can whack a bunch. So
yeah, there you go.
I love hunting the desert. That desert, Arizona desert in the wintertime, I always call it my mistress because they're real nice to you.
Takes you away,
feel good. And then in the summertime, becomes your wife. Hates your guts. Miserable.
Runs you away. Runs you
other people's wife, not mine. Mine's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Hang on. My wife is the most perfect wife in the world.
Get it tattooed there.
I did.
We don't forget it.
Yep. So I commute 7 hours to work, Timothy.
Yeah, that's rough. I used to do that, you know, based on traffic. It was a 7-hour drive, and then traffic could be up to 10 hours. That's
working out of town destroys your hunting, destroys your your kids' relationship, your wife's relationship. You know, it's hard. It's tough. So
it is tough. That's why I alternate between kids, which ones I take with me hunting. So
you gotta.
you know that way they'll get to spend a day, 2 days with me, depending if I stay overnight.
Pick your favorite one that day.
Yeah, which one hasn't been annoying me?
Exactly. But you got to get them kids into hunting. Absolutely got to get the kids into hunting.
Yep, absolutely.
And I started. I'm still working on the 501(c) part of it, the tax exempt or whatever it is, nonprofit.
There you
go. It's called Campfire Roots, and
nice.
I want it to be kind of like a big brother, big sister program where you take kids from, say, military families that maybe the father or mother's not around, or get them out hunting. Just get them out hunting, or people with no fathers. People with no fathers, because there's a lot of deadbeat dads. There's a lot of deadbeat moms. I'm a private investigator. I'm gonna tell you right now that this used to be the moms in the day. Dads were crappy. It's getting like this now, where the dads are
almost
50-50.
Wow.
You know, we just did a case. The dad got the kid, didn't know he had a kid. Dad got the kid. Dad took care of the kid. And the other side, I think, was a little upset because we couldn't prove that the dad was worthless. This dude just found out he had a kid, didn't know he had a kid. Kid's 9, like young. I don't want to put out too many details. The kid's young, very young, under a year. And he was taking care of his, making sure he didn't have a call. I was taking care of, like, the dude was taking care of the kid, man. Like, I had respect. So I went, and I don't fudge reports. I'm not trying to. I'd rather work for dads in custody cases, because your family, kids need a dad.
Yeah. Well, you need both parents. The family unit that's one of the most important things. Having a good family for kids to be comfortable when they come home and be happy. That's what the whole country is built on.
We don't want to get in the country. I have very little faith in this country's family values.
Yeah.
No, I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what race you are. I don't care about none of that, honestly. But your family values, what matter to me. Like, you could worship the devil, I don't care. But if you're a good father and a mother, like, your family's good. You know what I mean? That, to me, that's my religion, is family. Like, I'd rather take care of family than worry about anything else.
Yeah.
So, and 90% of the kids don't have a dad, have a hard time in life. Very hard time in life.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
So it's just be nice to get them out, start a program to where you just squirrel hunting, man, rabbit hunting. You can start them off small, get them interested, because these kids these days are growing up on the internet, and the internet ain't very kind to hunters.
It's not kind to anything. It's a great research tool. If you want to learn something about something, then it's great for that. Otherwise, I try not to. I got stuck in the internet there for a long time, right? Because there's so much stuff there. It always keeps you busy. There's always something to read somewhere about something. But
always.
Learning to put it down and not is hard. It's so addictive, just because you can sit there. If you're bored, you can find anything to read about. But being able to put it down and just go do stuff, like be with your kids, play with the kids, it's hard. Just because, inherently we're lazy, and people in general are just lazy, and you want to sit down and not, get crawled on, not get kicked and punched and clawed by kids. But
why do you think my anecdote of a houndsman, that's all I do is go out and ride. I don't do nothing special, but people don't get to do that. That's why people watch my YouTube. That's why YouTube people are famous. That's why you can make money at being a influencer, because
Yeah.
everybody's at home watching TV instead of doing it. Drives me crazy.
Yep.
You know, it's horrible. And my kids, they got tablets. I'm gonna tell you this right now. They get to watch them 30 minutes before they go to bed. They take showers. 6:30, 7. I'm like 30 minutes. You got to watch 30 minutes of educational something first, or you got to watch something educational first. And they will. They'll watch. My one son, they're 9. He's in the military. He's going to be a sniper. He's going to be a sniper. So he watches that. They watch hunting. They watch. They get to go hunting, and then you can watch whatever you want. We watch what they watch.
Yeah.
Weekends when I get home, I'm like, no tablets this weekend. Now, saying that, I'm not 100% hold to that, because when mommy and daddy needs time, all I got to do is say, go play a game on your tablet. And I got an hour or two to myself. Like, it's a good babysitter, but
yeah.
some kids are just
that's,
on it. They're not being watched.
People have used it as a babysitter to the point where kids, they don't have any social skills. They overreact on everything. They don't know how to have a real conversation, and they just get, basically afraid to talk to people, or, they can't handle confrontation. They fly off the handle. It's just, they have no self-control because they don't have people skills.
They're triggered. And I teach my kids yes or no, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's important. Handshakes. I'm like, yeah, you shake elders, and I got kids from 28 to 5.
Oh,
my 9-year-old yelled at, and it's his sister, and she's 21, and they but I had to tell him, listen, she's still the adult. Like, she's still an adult. And I'm like, I know it's your sister and you want to punch her in the face, but it's still an adult. So I try my hardest to teach them respect, because there's no respect.
Respect is big, yeah.
But at school, they get bullied. I'm like, listen, walk away. It's fine. It's fine until they touch you. If they touch you, you punch them in the throat. You punch them in the throat and make sure they go down. Don't let no one ever punk you. You know, and I say, if you get, and is this sad? Because where did that happen? The kid just got killed because he stood up for his friend.
Yep. That got stomped to death in Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas. And that's horrible. I said,
like 15 kids just beat him down. So I think last I heard, like 8 or 9 had been charged with murder.
There's a dude on TikTok, Alpha Man, whatever he is. He's a black dude. He came on and he talked some smack about those guys. Like, he's like justice for the dude, and he kind of ragged on the black community right there. He was like, if this was a black kid that got stomped by 15 white kids, it would be all over. Why isn't this on the news? Like,
there'd be riots nationwide.
He blew up. So
I watch. There's Officer Tatum, Right Wing Angel, and another guy that I don't remember his channel. They're all black guys, and I watch them on YouTube a lot. Like, I'll put them on whenever I'm driving, so it's background noise. I just listen to stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, if you paid the premium, if you'd pay the premium on YouTube, you could just download it and listen to it and shut up.
Yeah,
I'm cheap.
I'm not going to pay for it. No,
I know. I know. But that's my plan. I'd love to get kids out, because we got to build up the community for outdoorsmen, I think. Because once we lose that, then this BLM and the state land, is forestry, it's shrinking. I just drove through some today, and I'm looking at my Onyx. If Onyx wants to sponsor me, I was looking on my Onyx, and I was checking how it's checkered out. And I'm all, this didn't all used to be checkered out. It used to be all BLM and state land. State land can be traded. Like, there's.
So there's right by me, there was it was a Bureau of Reclamation. They just traded it with the state to make it a state wildlife area, and it was 20-something thousand acres. They just traded with the Bureau of Reclamation, and it's all right now, because now it's just a giant wildlife area, or wildlife. It's not a refuge; it's a wildlife area, and you got to pay $60 to get on it a year. But That all goes towards the wildlife habitat and everything of that
Hey, as
facility.
long as it goes back to it, not some politician, you know what I mean?
You're right. So and the place is it's pretty accessible. I mean, you can drive all the way around it, and you could walk into it, or they've got one main entrance, and you can drive like when it ain't completely flooded out, because it's all duck water right now, and it's like of the 21,000 acres, probably 15 of it, or 15 to 17 is flooded right now. So
Wow.
it's nothing but
Snow,
ducks
what,
and
like
stuff.
from like snow and then it melting out? Is it that
Yeah,
high? Or is it
Carson
just the
Lake.
rain?
It's the termination of the Carson River.
Oh,
So,
Carson Lake.
yep, Carson Lake.
My cousin keeps trying to get me buy property in Nevada, and he sent me some over there by that lake.
Like I
Somewhere
said,
close to it.
it's a duck hunting paradise right there.
Hey, quit chewing.
So
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a duck hunter or you know,
I used to be real bad. My dad still, I'll go out, but my dad,
Yeah.
it's their religion too.
so there's the
Quit chewing on-
Stillwater Wildlife Area, or Wildlife Refuge, I think is what it is, and then there's the Carson Lake Wildlife Area, and they're between the two, it's like 100,000 acres,
Nice.
and they're only like 30 minutes apart.
Thank goodness for old Teddy Roosevelt, man. If that guy didn't do what he did, wasn't a hunter. I just found out
Right?
he wrote a book. He wrote a book when he was young. I want to check it out. I don't remember what it's called.
I hadn't heard
TikTok.
about it.
I'm all over TikTok. Yeah, I guess he wrote a book. But he I'm sure someone will pop up and say what book it is. But he did a lot. Thank God, because there'd be houses all over the place.
Yeah. What do they call it? They tried to vote it down just last year or the year before, the tax, 10% tax on firearms and sporting goods.
Well, did they get rid of that? Or
No,
did that
it didn't
stay?
pass. It stayed.
That was absolutely stupid to even put it in there to get rid of that.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, granted, it's 10 or 11% tax, right? That sucks. But it is
Where does it go?
billions. It
Yes.
goes straight to wildlife rehab.
Yep.
Rehabilitation of lands that are bought. They're making wetlands. They're going through and they're cutting trees, making better habitat for sage grouse. They're doing it for I want to say it's the same thing. They help pay for the guzzlers for like the mountain sheep and
Yep.
the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. They some of that money goes into the projects they do. That's where that money comes from. I don't know what percentage, of course, because it probably varies by project, but that's how they're able to put in water tanks in the middle of a freaking wilderness and
Yeah.
put water where there was no water, and now there's elk
Exactly.
and bears and everything going down in there to use it.
Yep.
So
we did damage in the 1800s, man. We
yeah,
did some damage.
Yeah.
Daniel Boone, he killed 10 days, 120 bears or something. Like, we did some damage. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was they're killing and selling bears for the fats to
meat,
the oil. Yep.
Yep.
They say that the bear meat was a huge commodity back then, because everyone wanted fat, right? Because no one had steers, so everybody's eating rabbits and birds and stuff, and you weren't getting enough fat, so they'd go shoot bears, and they'd sell the bear meat because it had fat mixed. There, you got a pup right there.
That's my truck dog.
Nice. Yeah,
His
and so then
mini border collie.
what did Clay Newcomb say in that podcast? The L's or eels of
An eel.
a deer
An
hide?
eel was the neck of a deer.
A deer
And then
sewn up and turned into like an oil pouch, and they would
Yep.
sell it. Yeah,
Yep.
that's cool stuff.
I love bear fat. I try to get it from people, because a lot of people they'll just do nothing with it.
Yeah,
But I
toss it out.
render it down. I make soap. I do all kinds of stuff with it.
My
I will
wife's
buy
been-
bear fat.
My wife's been after me, wanting me to take her bear hunting, and we were going to try to do it this year, but a bunch of finances hit us hard this year, so we didn't have the extra money to buy out of state bear tags.
Bidenomics.
Yeah. Yep. So didn't have that extra money to buy the out of state bear tags, because Nevada you can't draw one. So it's freaking.
Well, you can always come to Arizona. I think it's $300. maybe.
Well, I mean, we could buy one for $350 in California, but
Yeah, we
can't
can't
hunt
run
with
dogs in
hounds.
California.
No, you'd be spotting stock, and it's tough. It takes a lot of time, a lot of money invested, fuel,
There's a
driving around.
lot of bears.
No, there is. There's just a ton of bears.
Well, I could hook you up. I could hook you up with my cousin over there in Rowdy. Look, they're trying to guess what you are. He's nothing. He's just sitting at home minding his own business.
Oh,
Not on duty.
right. I can't see any of the comments. If I click on the comments, it loses
Oh yeah.
the
Here, let me
camera.
put it up there. Let me put it up there.
Oh,
Rowdy, you must be. What makes you think that? So,
no comment.
no comment.
We got to do something to feed an addiction to hounds, you know.
Oh man, if I could just win that Powerball, man. So, but no, that's my goal. Get my nonprofit going and make $1 million so I could just take kids out camping,
right,
hunting. I would love to do a program where you take them out, get an over-the-counter elk tag, take them out a couple days before. You teach them how to build a fire. You teach them how to set their tent. You teach them how to keep warm. Teach them how to take care of yourself. And then the season starts. Our season starts on Friday. Friday, you go out and kill, or that weekend, try to just do a cow hunt. And if you kill, you're gonna kill it. You're gonna process it. I would
show them how to do it all.
Yeah, cool. I got a walk-in freezer. I'm dragging to my house. So I'm on property, and I've done so much demo in my life, and I'm just gonna say my mother's Jewish, and I take everything home, man. I have big 3 stainless, 3 tubs stainless steels, 2 tubs stainless steel. I just got a stainless.
I've got
table,
the same thing.
Big stainless table. I got all kinds of stuff. I bought a meat slicer and a grinder and a bandsaw for $300 from a girl.
That's a hell of a deal.
So I got all that stuff, and I'd love to teach these kids.
Having the proper stuff. I mean, you can do a deer in probably 2 hours with the proper equipment.
Well, you can make the pork chop, you can make the chops, and you can make the steaks. I don't like cutting bone. I like deboning, and I do nothing but burger and roast. I used to do steaks.
I like steaks. I like to leave the bone in for steaks, especially like the chops. I like bone in on a chop.
What I do is I cut the big, so I can either throw it in the Instant Pot as a roast, or I can take it camping with me. And if I want steaks, I'll cut them up as steaks. Or if I want to cut them up, so it's just easy for me, because I don't. I have so many people in my house, like steaks go quick. But if I have a roast, I can just cut those up for myself, and I can cut a couple steaks out of it when we're deer hunting or elk hunting or whatever we're hunting, camping. And then the next day, take the other half and cut up, make some carne asada or, meat burritos.
Heck yeah.
So I just do big roast. That's all I do now. Even I got a bandsaw, but you know me. Yep. But
I was telling the wife the other day, I want one of those steak cutting knives. They're what are they? It's about a 10-inch blade, but the way it's shaped, it comes out and then curves up and then tapers off towards the tip. But it's designed to get a good clean cut on a steak.
Yeah.
And that's one of the only knives I need left I have that I need still out of all of my butchering stuff. I've got fillet knives, and I've got, different skinning knives and all that, but just for cutting steaks. So I just use an old fillet knife for cutting steaks now, but those big knives they just make it easier. You got more blade to make that smooth, clean cut.
My brother makes knives. So if I want a different shape, I'm like,
there you go.
Can you make me this knife? And he'll make me a knife. So
what was he making out of?
I don't know, car axles, stainless steel bolts. I bring them. I owned a scrapyard, and I've been going through a 55-gallon barrel of brass. So on my bad brass, he's kind of scared of it now because his friend, I gave him like a gallon bucket of brass, and they were melting it down, and one of them blew up. So it must have been a live round in there. I don't know.
Right. Firearm brass, yeah.
I don't know. I thought they was all empty. It might have been a primer. kind of scared him a little, but I said, I just got to check it. But
Yeah.
so they get the brass, and he made me, like, he forged the handle with the brass,
Oh,
put like a little lion head on the end of it. But whatever he makes,
nice.
whatever I give him, he'll make.
That's cool.
I worked at a mill, so I had a bunch of stainless blades off the planer that got too short. So I gave him a bunch of those to make some knives. But he
Nice.
made my boys some knives, for their birthday, and kind of cool. So
Jeremy says he saw one bear in 3 months of hunting in California. That's what I see over the summer. I'll see, I wouldn't say one a month, about one every other month, just driving in California. I've got a trail cam out that I need to go pull back from hunting in California, and I'm sure there's going to be bear pictures all over it. There's just all we find is just soft steaming poop everywhere we go when we're hunting deer this year. So
is that in Nevada?
California.
Nevada. So you can hunt bears in Nevada, can't you?
Yeah, they only give 50 tags, 5 to non-residents and 45 to residents, and it takes a while to draw.
Don't you have a lot of bears there, or not really?
They say somewhere around 800 or 900. I know I've seen a shit pot of tracks, and I saw one. I guess it'd been probably around March or April, and I was at 9,000 foot on top of a mountain, and I thought this was a Mustang walking across a ridge, and I threw binoculars up, and it was a freaking big old cinnamon bear. That sucker had to have been at least 500 pounds. So
I think you'd be better off coming to Arizona.
Well, yeah, you probably got more tags, and
yeah, it's just over the counter.
Yeah, I got a buddy.
If you come right, you could come during when the bear and the over the counter elk.
Oh, you guys have over the counter elk?
Oh yeah, my backyard, man.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Oh, there's a bunch of units open for over the counter.
Yeah. Is it that low flat sagebrush or pinyon pine?
Cedar. No, cedar trees. It's worse. Cedar trees. Yeah. They stick their head in the ground and become a cedar. I swear to God.
I like hunting elk in Colorado. That's I'm really good at glassing them up. So that's
that's one of the ways I like to. I'll let you know, because like there's one part of it's right out my back door, and honestly, I hunt the golf course. I shoot them right on the golf course. They don't like them there. No, they don't like them there. The old guy who owned the golf course used to say, if you shoot them on, 9-hole, let me know, and I'll bring my tractor over so you don't mess up my turf. And he'd drag them off. But there's one time that they have a bull and cow open.
Oh, yeah.
At the same time.
I don't care about shooting bulls anymore. I mean, I've shot 4 or 5 bulls. I just want to shoot cows.
I shot a spike. The first year I shot a spike because it had a bad leg. And when I ended up skinning him out, he had a 500-gram lead sabot in his spine and one in his elbow. What? I actually shot it, like I passed the game warden. I seen the game warden sitting down there. I'm like, oh, someone's on the looking. And I guess I know him. He's like, yeah, I looked up there. I'm like, oh, someone's hunting this. He was going to shoot him, because he had a tag too. We passed each other, and I looked over and seen that spike, and I got out and shot him. And he turned around and come back, and it's a muzzle loader only unit, but during this hunt, it's rifle. Rifle pit. It's a ham hunt, handgun, archery or rifle, whatever.
So, okay.
Yeah, I'll have to fill you in.
I got black powder. I can shoot black powder. I can shoot.
Oh, I love hunting. I shot it with a black powder because it's a premium unit. I felt kind of wrong. And I had my 10 millimeter on, and the warden was like, why didn't you shoot him with that? I said, I don't know. It just feels kind of wrong to shoot him in this unit. It's just weird that they made it but there's so many elk, I guess. But there's a few units too that are open, like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, we'll talk more. I wouldn't mind bringing the wife down to shoot one.
Yeah. I got a little trailer I let everybody stay in. You don't even have to. I'll even cook.
I appreciate it. We pretty self sufficient. We can do everything.
Oh, so you'll cook for me? That's fine.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I literally live in the unit. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I live right in the unit. You don't have to camp out. We go hit the golf course. And
yeah.
That's about it. Run around.
You know.
Well, Rowdy, it's been 2 hours. I think I should probably get off here. I can't believe everybody's still listening to us ramble on about nothing.
About nothing, yeah.
I wish they'd open dogs back up in Cali. I think they will.
Yeah.
I think they will. If we can get that, I don't know if anybody
I think the biggest thing we would have to do to get California open up again is you'd have to get the tally of all the conflicts that happen in a single year, right? So
Mhm.
not just the human encounters, but all the conflicts where bears have
nuisance.
caused damage, where they've been euthanized. Just the sheer amount of damage they cause, I think in the Tahoe area alone, is probably in the hundreds of thousands, because you got to figure it's $3,000 to $5,000 to replace one door, right? So
Mhm.
a door and a window plus all the freaking damage they do inside. So it's probably anywhere $10,000 to $12,000 at
Leave it alone.
in every house, right? So if they hit 10 houses, it's over $100,000. So,
Yep.
because they're going to damage carpet, they're going to damage the refrigerator, they're going to damage cabinets, they're going to damage, windows, doors, everything. So,
Yeah.
it won't take
Sooner or
much.
later.
And
They
so,
just
the Fish and Game in California, I asked them before, they don't keep any track of, they don't keep track of any kind of wildlife conflicts. They don't even keep track of like how many times they've been called to wildlife conflicts. So, if they were required to do that, I bet it'd be in the thousands for total number of wildlife conflicts.
I know just in our little area in North Arizona, we had one year we had like, I don't know, they were like, 300, calls, nuisance bears. The next year they had like 600. And then I talked to Game Warden one year and he said they had like 1,200 calls for conflicts and bears.
Dang.
So they're, the animals, why would you go out and forage when you could just
it's a
dig in a
sure
trash
deal.
can?
You're going to get something that's going to have higher protein, higher fat content than anything they can get in the wild.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
who
Good old
who was that
Filiberto's in a
last?
trash can.
Who was that last guy you just had up there that said they had hunted up like Happy Camp? Is that Happy Camp up there by Northern California and by Bieber, north of Bieber, or is that another Happy Camp?
Timothy
Brink.
Brink, that guy?
Yeah,
Where is it, Timothy?
because that's the only Happy Camp I know of. It'd be on north of Bieber, just below Oregon. It's it'd be north of Bieber, northeast or northwest of Aden, and west of Alturas. I forget the highways up there.
Yes, sir. He said, yes,
44
sir.
maybe. Yep, that's the same one. Yep. Yeah, I used to work up there in Bieber for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So,
My cousin lives up there in Walker. I think bear season's open right now, he said.
Yeah, bear season's open till the end of the year.
Yep.
So,
and I don't know if he shot a bear over there yet. So, yeah.
If the guy was going out just to hunt bear, I mean, you could probably see one a day, one every other day.
There's a lot of bear in California.
There really is. Back before I started working for who I work for now, I was working for a pack station, and I counted 23 bears in one day, and it was in National Park, so the Kings Canyon National Park.
And they really hammered those houndsmen. They really hammered those houndsmen before they shut it down, because they're like, I hear something killing a cat outside. Probably a coyote. They they just made it hard on them. They took away, didn't they take their GPSs away? And then
GPSs, they could only use telemetry. They couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
There was, I don't even know all the stipulations. I'm not a bear hunter. I got a buddy that he might want to come on here someday. I asked him a while back. I think he's just nervous to get on there.
Oh, it's all we do is BS.
Right, that's what I told him. But so he'd know all about it. I don't know anything about it. So, and then those 23 bears I saw was one day just riding a horse down a hiking trail, or it was a horse trail, and none of the yuppies hike on it.
Well, it don't
But
matter until someone gets their granola bars took from them from a bear. Then all of a sudden it's just like the Tahoe. Wasn't there this big thing in Tahoe where it's like a sanctuary for bear, and then they're
yeah,
like they keep breaking
yeah,
in, and they're like, well, that's your problem.
yeah. The
Yeah,
Bear Defense League. It's this crazy old lady
yeah.
there. She runs the Bear Defense League, and you can't hunt bears. You can't kill bears within a mile of the lake shore. Is the way I understand it. I could be wrong, but so yeah, you have to. It's a mile out from the lake shore. Um, and they take those bears and they relocate them into Nevada, as far as I know, is what I've been told. And they'll
You
take them
hope.
in. Yeah.
Bring them all. Bring them all to Nevada. Shoot.
hmm Yeah. I mean, I've seen some freaking hammer tracks. Tracks are about 10, 11 inches long, and front pads that are 7 inches wide.
So how many tags did you say they give out?
I think it's only 50 a year.
So
Five to
and you got
non-residents,
900
25
bear.
residents. Yeah.
You know.
And
So
that Bear Defense League, they're over here petitioning and going to all the meetings trying to get that taken away.
the bear hunting in general.
Yeah, in general, but they go after the hounds specifically, right? Because it's the low hanging fruit. There's the least amount of people hunting with hounds.
Yep. Yep. And where's that at? Is that in Nevada?
hmm Yeah, so the crazy she lives there in Tahoe.
Gotcha.
So
It's
I
just
used to know her
ridiculous.
name. It is. It's
I just heard about her. I just
idiotic.
seen something on I don't know TikTok or YouTube
Yeah,
about
she's a piece of work.
Oh, they
Like
all are. They all are.
they like dox people. If you're up there in Tahoe and you have a bear come in and break into your house, if you go and call Fish and Game, she somehow gets that information and they dox you, and they people will, like, run you out of town, kind of thing.
See, I'm a private investigator, so I'm the wrong person to probably do that to. The wrong person to do that to. So, well, Rowdy, I think I'm
Yeah,
gonna
man.
jump off.
All right. Yeah, I'll go
Glad
eat
you
some
came
dinner.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
you
for having
probably
me. I
should go.
appreciate it.
So I will next week. I have it's supposed to happen. I have Dan Gates coming on. He's the guy that's kind of leading that charge over there in Colorado with that Initiative 91.
Oh yeah, he runs the trapping stuff. The trapper
Yes.
club.
He actually, I heard about some stuff. I got hold of him last night. I sent a little form email thing. I won't hear from this dude.
Minutes.
As soon as I jump in the shower, he calls. Like I'm like,
Oh,
whoa.
call.
So I got out. He called like within. It wasn't long at all. You
Yeah.
know. So
I
we
hear
talked.
he's pretty
Cool
dialed,
dude.
smart,
Cool
super
dude.
smart, because he's a lawyer by trade, and what is he? He runs that 501(c) or
Yeah.
whatever it is. It's not a 501(c), is it? It's 501 something else.
501(c) or C3 is a nonprofit organization.
Well, his
It
is
probably
different
is.
because he's hired.
Like a 501(4)(a) or something.
That might be what he's got. Yeah, because he's hired. What do you call them? They go in and petition the government. I should know
Political assassins.
Uh,
I know what you're talking about. You got it. It's coming.
I just had it.
You did. And it went away.
He can hire lobbyists.
Oh, gotcha.
And like Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, they can't petition the government. They can only spend, for example, like say $10,000 a year on campaigns of anything, right?
Yep.
All right, and that may not be in total, but like kind of like it's one topic kind of thing. Yeah, lobbyist, perfect. Yeah. And so his organization, they take and they're working with, like, say the quality deer management's QDM or whatever that is. Used to be like for whitetails, now they're doing it nationwide. And then used to be that now he also gets funding from like Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Foundation from North American Wild Sheep, and he's the one that goes out there and lobbies. He's just started. As far as I understand, so he's the guy that's taking the fight to the government, and he's going over there spending the money to actively try to change or save us from these bills.
Yep. He said, I said, hey, I'm doing a little, live if you want to come on, just kind of, he's like, oh man, I would, but I'm doing Steve Ranella thing tonight. I'm like, oh.
That's a hard thing to compete with right there.
I did. I know. I'm like, oh, so yeah, I think he's probably pretty, the guy's real down to earth, real like humble. Like he's just like, I'm nobody. I'm not smart. Like I just know more than most. And I answer, he said he just kind of got through into it. So he's supposed to be on. Oh, he's talking about Joe Rogan, going on Joe Rogan's. I'm all, man, you're making me feel. I said, you're making me feel a little special because he's all, yeah, I'll pencil you in for Wednesday. And I'm all, dang.
That's great. That's cool.
I said,
man.
Listen, I said, you can make me real famous if you tell Steve Ranella you're just going to cancel and go to my show. He said, yeah, I could. But yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. I like him. We talked for a little while. So he's supposed to be on next week. I'll probably not get on till 6 o'clock. So, because I think that's when he can come on. So hopefully it all works out. So I just, people are like, what does that have to do with Arizona? And I'm like, it's everything to do with Arizona and New Mexico.
Because if we don't unite and help in Colorado, then they're just going to take it to Nevada, and they're going to take it to Montana, and they're going to take it to Idaho, and then fucking
circle right back to Arizona.
Right to Arizona, New Mexico.
They did it in 2017. They did it in like 2021, and then they moved over to Utah, and then they moved over to Colorado. They'll keep going. We've money.
All got to get our crap together, and we've all got to start joining the fight for everywhere.
We do.
So, and if we can afford it, $20 a month, throw it towards that his organization, because he's the one that's footing the bill for the lobbyists that are actually doing the work.
And I'll post a bunch of stuff. He sent me like a little video and stuff and to watch so I can kind of get up to speed. But it's hard for everybody to work together. It's really hard because everybody knows the Arizona line hunters are the better ones. So, like everybody else, it's hard to work.
Jealous.
With them. Yeah, that's what it is.
Jealousy.
You do got to come together. Even the deer hunters, you can hate us and say we kill everything and that the lions kill the deer and whatever,
And our hounds chase the deer and kill the deer.
But it don't matter. It don't matter because in the end, we're not going to have none of it. We're not going to have hounds. You're not going to be able to use
if we don't get our crap together and everybody stand together, then we're going to have nothing in the end.
Absolutely nothing.
And nothing. Yeah. So that's. Yeah.
And that's true. Cali was the project. That's
where it started. That's where it started.
It's still happening.
Yeah.
Still happening. So.
They're fighting every year to try to take more and more hunting rights away.
Yep. So. All righty, Rowdy.
Yeah, man.
Go get you some dinner. Thanks for coming on.
You bet. Anytime.
I will see you again soon.
Yes, sir.
All righty, guy.
Bye.
All right. That was a 2-hour one. I didn't think it was going to be 2 hours. I see people dropping off, so they're getting bored of our dumb talk. Next week, I supposed to have Dan Gates coming on. He's going to talk about the Initiative 91 happening in Colorado. So if you don't know about it, look it up. Initiative 91, Colorado. Not a good thing. Any of you on here who run dogs, it dominoes out. It comes back to us. So if you got $20, don't buy a pack of cigarettes or soda or get off of OnlyFans, whatever, and send the guy $20. I will get it all together before next week, but next Wednesday, I'll be back on with Dan Gates. Hopefully he's going to have a lot of information. Hopefully we can pick his brain. Thanks for coming on. I got a video that came out today. Go watch it. Pretend you like it. Say something stupid on the comments. I don't care. Like it. And keep your powder dry. You guys all stay safe out there, especially this time of year. Thank you, guys.